On Themistode, FightHype.com, here with Eddie Hearn. How you feeling, brother? You're in New York.
I'm feeling great. You know, as I always say, look, I'm a promoter from London who's promoting at Madison Square Garden on Saturday. We're in with the big boys. We're competing with the big boys. You know, we're selling out the theatre, and I honestly think we're going to get a great card on Saturday. So really looking forward to it.
Gotcha. Have to ask you, man. So you're saying that Quigley is world level, biggest test of Berlanga's career, but on one end, when you say something like that, it's like, okay, if Berlanga loses, it's like, okay, he might have lost to a great fighter. But if he loses to Quigley, a lot of people will be like, all right, Berlanga was just a hype job.
If Berlanga loses to Quigley, the hype is done. His career's not over. But all of a sudden, how can we talk about Golovkin and Canelo and all these guys if you can't beat Jason Quigley? Jason Quigley's a good fighter, but he's definitely not elite level of all the other guys that I just mentioned. So the pressure's on Edgar to go through this guy and win well on Saturday night.
Anything less than a stoppage would be disappointing for you, man?
No, I think, look, points in a good fight. What we don't want is, Regis last week was a disappointing fight. If it's a great fight, Quigley can fight. You can dominate and bash him up and win on points, but it needs to be a commanding victory.
Gotcha. Have to ask you, man. So we spoke yesterday about the whole $45 million not being enough for Canelo to fight Benavidez.
By the way, when I say that,
well,
that's my
in your opinion,
so I know what I would pay Canelo Alvarez for that fight, and it's a lot more than that. So, but it doesn't mean that that's Canelo's opinion.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
For sure. So yeah, I'm happy you cleared that up. So would you be okay with kind of saying like, all right, this is probably the ballpark figure that I'd be willing to pay for such a massive fight?
I wouldn't. I mean, significantly more than that. That's what I'll tell you. So,
would you say double?
No. Okay. But at the same time, it's irrelevant if I can't make the fight. I mean, if David Benavidez doesn't have an interest in finding out what we would pay for the fight, and he's just told you can't go anywhere else, it's irrelevant what I'd pay for the fight. But when I heard that number, I thought, that's very low. The size of that fight. Well,
what would you say to people that that'll say that Canelo took a bit of a pay cut to go to Mexico to fight John Ryder, and now he doesn't want to take? He'll probably be making double to fight Benavidez.
Why would you take a pay cut in a massive fight? Like the reason that he took a pay cut was it was a smaller fight that he wanted to take home. This is a massive fight. You don't, and it's a tough fight as well. You don't take a massive fight and say I'll take a pay cut. You know, if you want to take a smaller fight, a mandatory, and go and do it in Mexico, understand. So. And look, Canelo will make his own decision. It's only my opinion. But, I know what I paid him for Gennady Golovkin. And it was a lot more than that. And this is a fight of a similar size.
Yeah. Significantly more?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Would love to know. I spoke to David Benavidez Sr. Probably just a few days ago. And he said that, look, if they can't really get the fights they want, Bivol, 75, let's do it. How do you think the fight plays out?
Great fight. I mean, but Benavidez may be better at 75. He's a big 168-pounder. I'd love to talk to David Benavidez. I don't know his position, with Samson and those guys, but look, we've got some big fights for him, but I'm sure they have as well. So we'll see. I love Benavidez against Bivol. Let's talk a Morrell fight. I don't believe in a million years Benavidez will be fighting Morrell. If he does,
You mean this year or just?
I mean, yeah, this year.
This year?
Yeah, if he does.
What makes you say that?
Because the guy's 6-0 and he's very good.
Oh, he's 9-0.
Is he 9-0? Okay,
Yeah.
He's very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So you're pretty much saying it's too much risk for not enough reward?
No. The guy, we know Morrell. We know how good Morrell is. You honestly think that you could walk out to, the casual fan on the street and go, Benavidez against Morrell? They might not even know who Benavidez is. But Morrell is a very good fighter. Very good fighter. Listen, I'll be honest with you. If I represented David Benavidez, I wouldn't want him to fight David Morrell. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Granted, if you don't think that fight's going to happen, at this very point, if it did, who would you kind of favor in that fight, though?
Probably Morrell. I rate David Benavidez. I think he's a great fighter. But Morrell's a very, very, very good fighter.
Okay, so seems like a little bit of a contradiction then, because yesterday I spoke to you and you said that at 168 pounds, you would think that Benavidez would probably be the biggest threat to Canelo because Canelo is the top guy.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But would you say now it's Morrell? When
when I think about it, but I guess I'm not even thinking about a Morrell-Canelo fight because that fight's not even been discussed. So if you play out everybody in the division, maybe Morrell is Canelo's toughest fight.
Why would you say that Morrell? You'd actually favor Morrell over Benavidez? Wow.
Because if you watch Morrell and if you know Morrell from the amateurs, you know this kid's a very special fighter.
For sure. Got it. All right, so shifting gears to the whole, obviously we have Spence versus Crawford thing, man. I've heard you go on record and say that 50-50 fight, but you do think Crawford is going to win. Spence has gone on record plenty of times and said that, Crawford pretty much hadn't fought anybody. And that's probably going to come back to bite him. What's your thoughts on that, man?
I think it's been difficult for Crawford to get the fights. I think he's always wanted the big fights. I think Spence probably has a better resume, not much better resume, but don't forget Terence has gone through the divisions. At lightweight, undisputed at 140 as well, and got to 147. So he's been wanting those big fights, but in answer to that, he has a lot less mileage on the tank in terms of damage and tough fights. You look at Errol Spence with the car crash, you look at the retina problem as well, and a couple of fights where he was hurting as well. And I just feel like at 147, Terence Crawford is going to be fresher in the fight.
Gotcha. And can I just get a quick prediction for the huge fight between Virgil Ortiz and Stanionis?
Yeah, great fight. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Stanionis, but comes the fight, Virgil, you don't know with all the medical stuff and the making weight, but he's a very talented fighter as well. Really good fight on DAZN.
Gotcha. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.